Hi guys, Nate here from NK & Co, wanting to take the time to talk to you about some tax tips coming up for this tax season. Look, I see it all too often where clients come in and they bring in their balance sheets and profit and loss reports from other accountants that have prepared, and they just present them to me. And when I talk to the clients about what they actually mean and what they are telling me as a story, they generally don't really understand how to read profit and loss reports or how to read balance sheets. So I want to talk very, very quickly and quite simply over what they mean, what's the difference between the two, and what's important about them. So let's start with a profit and loss report. So a profit and loss report is a picture of how your business is performing. So it talks about the money that's coming in and the expenses going out. Quite simply, the objective of a profit and loss report is to show profit. If you show profit, it means that you're making money. If you're making money and you're having profit, it's highly likely that you're going to pay tax, and it's likely that the amount that's sitting down there as a bottom line item as profit is going to be an indicator as kind of what that tax is going to be based upon. So the profit and loss report is a detailed picture of your business's financial performance. Couple of tips for you. Make sure that the profit and loss report is broken into as much detail as possible. Don't just have a sales item. Have different types of sales so that we can then break down as year to year is compared over where the business is going and what its trends are. So let's say, for example, we've got a business and it has online sales and then it has storefront sales. If we break down the sales into those two different categories, we then can track from year to year whether sales for online are increasing and whether the retail sales are decreasing, or vice versa. So it allows us to understand the trends of the business. Also keep in mind with expenses, if we were to put line items in there, for example, motor vehicle, instead of having motor vehicle as a cost item, why not put motor vehicle expenses like motor vehicle petrol, motor vehicle insurance, motor vehicle registrations? And I'll tell you why. It allows you to compare year to year very quickly at a glance to see if you're paying more than you did last year or less. So for example, if you're churning more petrol, but yet you're still doing the same sort of distance, maybe your car's in for a service. Or if we're paying insurances from year to year, it makes it very clear as to whether or not they've increased those premiums. And sometimes we don't pay attention to the detail on a day-to-day basis. Financial statements like the profit and loss report allow you to step back and look at your business overall and how it's performing. So they're really, really key. But a profit and loss statement of financial performance. The other one we're going to have is a balance sheet. Now, a balance sheet states your financial position. So basically it talks about whether or not you've got any money or not. Now, a balance sheet contains assets, it contains your liabilities, which is money that you owe, and it also contains your equity position. So your equity position is basically what you're worth at the end of the day. And this is the thing that we want to grow, because this is the thing that makes your business viable and effectively saleable. So let's start looking at your assets. So assets are going to be things like, items that you might own, cars you might own, effectively anything that's over a certain value. At the moment, it's $1,000. With this small business accelerated depreciation, we are looking at items that are over $20,000 that would show on these assets and balance sheet. And it also could be like cash at the bank and things like that. So the balance sheet is your statement of financial position. So this talks about what you're worth, and it lets you know and understand what do you own, what do you owe, and ultimately what is your end financial position. We're wanting this to be looking like it's in the black, and we're wanting it to be showing that you've actually got money rather than having a negative figure in there. So that's going to let you understand that you're growing. My advice when looking at your balance sheet is to make sure that you understand what each of the line items on that balance sheet is. So you'll often see up in the top section there, you're going to have all your assets. So this is going to show how much money did you have in your bank as of the 30th of June, how much value have we got in what assets you've got, so things like cars or furniture and equipment, plant and equipment. So look at those and you should know what every single one of those line items are. If you've owned something, it should be sitting in there. The next one is going to be your liability section. So this is the money that you owe. Some examples: credit cards. You might owe suppliers. You might owe the tax office. So the liability section, again, you need to know what every single one of those debts are and what they refer to. Now, sometimes some accountants might bundle it together and write it in fancy language, but doesn't actually allow you to understand what each of those items are. My advice, get them to write it so that you understand what each of those items are rather than bundling it together. Because if you understand your financial position, it empowers you with the knowledge to make good decisions on a day-to-day basis in the sort of running of your business. So 2 reports, a little bit of a summary there for you to understand the difference between the profit and loss report and the balance sheet. Ideally, both of them together is going to give us the bigger picture, but from a management accounting perspective, look at your profit and loss report. It's telling you how your business is going, and speak to your advisors about your balance sheet, and they can help you understand what your overall financial position is. Guys, thanks for taking the time to watch this quick video. My name is Nate, founder of NK & Co. If you've liked this video, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time for another NK Tax Tips.